Let's work with division with some larger numbers. Here we have 76 divided by 5. Our divisor is 5, that's what we're dividing by. And so we're dividing 76 by this 5. We first look at the tens place, 5 going into 7, or 7 divided by 5. 7 divided by 5 is 1. Again, it might help us to remember our division family. Next step is multiplication. 1 times 5 is 5, and 7 minus 5 is 2. We bring down the 6, and then we go back to our division step again. 26 divided by 5, it goes in 5 whole times, because 5 times 5 is 25, and 26 minus 25 is 1. 1 is our remainder. To check our problem, what we would do is we would go ahead and multiply 15 times 5, and we would remember to add back in that remainder. And so when we do so, as long as we get that same thing that we had inside of our dividend, we know that that answer is correct. Now, if we didn't, then we would have to go back to see what error that we made. As we're learning this, please remember to place your digits correctly. And then so we lined up our tens and our ones. Here's another example where we have 68 divided by 4. For 68 divided by 4, our first division problem that we think about is how many times 6 can be divided by that 4 there. Those 6 tens can be divided by 4 one whole time, and that's why it's in the tens place there within our answer. 1 times 4 is 4, 6 minus 4 is 2, and we bring down the 8. After we bring down, again, we have to go back to that division process. And 28 divided by 4 is 7, because 7 times 4 is 28. We subtract at that point. Sister says to subtract. 28 minus 28 is 0, and there's no more numbers to bring down. 0 is our remainder, and when our remainder is 0, we do not write it. To check our problem, again, we use multiplication. 17 times 4, does it equal 68? 4 times 7 is 28. 8, regroup the 2. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6. So I have 68 there, and it checks. Here we have the problem 35 divided by 2. What some students try to do is they try to take this whole thing here and divide it by 2. And I want you to go step by step. So as we get bigger and bigger and larger numbers, the process is still the same. So first we're going to take a look at that tens place. And in the tens place, we have the 3 here. And the 3 again is worth 3 tens. And that's why we place a 1 right here as part of our quotient. 1 times 2 is 2. 3 minus 2 is 1. Now, this is where some students have a little bit of difficulty. They'll bring down this number and then they get stuck because they don't know as to what to do next. Remember, after we bring down a number, we go back to that division step again. And I oftentimes ask the students as to what it is that we're dividing by. That answer to that is we're always dividing by the divisor. And in this case, we're dividing by 2. Just as we had divided 3 by 2, now after we bring down and we brought down that 5 all the way next to that 1 there, we have 15, and we have 15 divided by 2. When we take 15 divided by 2, that goes in 7 whole times. Some students will also have difficulty figuring out as to why it is that we put 7 there as our number that we divided this by. The reason behind that is because 14 divided by 2 is equal to 7, and that's the closest there because 16 divided by 2 is 8, and in this case here, that would have been too high. Now, our other reason behind it, some people like to think of the multiplication fact instead, is because 7 times 2 is 14, and so we have 15 minus 14 being 1. Again, don't make that common mistake of some students where they do not place that 1 as that remainder within their answer there, within their quotient. Again, this is the quotient, this is our dividend, and this is our divisor. Our check for this problem is 17. We multiply that by 2. We go step by step with our multiplication. We can't just write 34. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3, and then we add back in our remainder. So that problem does check. Here are 2 problems for you to try. Here's the first problem, and then we'll put the next problem on the next page. go ahead and copy this down. Please hit pause, solve it, and do a check. If you get stuck, you can come back to the video. We start with 3, and those 3 tenths divided by 3, which is 1, because 1 times 3 is 3, and 3 minus 3 is 0. We bring down the 7, and we go back to our dividing step, where it's 7 divided by 3. 3 goes into 7, 2 whole times, because 2 times 3 is 6, and 7 minus 6 is 1. 1 is our remainder. Here's our check there. And that's all we do. Here's your other problem. You have 68 divided by 5. Remember, you're dividing by 5. Hit pause. First step is to divide 6 by 5. It goes in one whole time. 1 times 5 is 5, and 6 minus 5 is 1. Remember, one step at a time. Bring down the 8, and then we go back to our division step again. 18 divided by 5. 5 goes into 18 3 whole times, because 3 times 5 is 15. And 18 minus 15 is 3. 3 is our remainder. Did you set up and solve your check? I hope so. Get into the habit of checking your work to make sure things are okay. Inverse operation of division is multiplication. That's why we're doing this here. And what do we do with that, the remainder again? We add it in. We get 68, and there's a check mark for you. Look at your own work. Make sure it looks like this here. Here's the final problem that I'm just going to show you here. And this is our review. Follow along with me. What do we start with? What do we start with? We start with our 9, right? And then so what we're going to do with that 9? We're going to divide. We're dividing by 7. And 9 divided by 7 is 1. So where do we place our 1? Did you say here? Or did you think there at least? 1 times 7 is 7. What am I going to do with the 9 and 7? Subtract. Correct. What is our next step? We bring down. What are we bringing down? The 8. And where do we put the 8? Next to the 2. At this point, after we bring down, we're going to go back to the division step. And 28 divided by 7 equals what? 4. Where do we put the 4? Here? Hope not. We put the 4 here in our answer. Whatever it is that we're dividing, we divide that and we put it in our answer. And that's where our answer is going to be. Because 4 times 7 is 28, and 28 minus 28 is 0. Do we write remainder 0? No, but don't forget to put your remainder if you do have one. How do we check this? We use 14 and we multiply by 7. And we see and we make sure that that checks. Otherwise, we'd have to go look at our work. So 98 divided by 7 is 14. And this here is division and dividing these larger numbers. Eventually, we'll divide even larger numbers than these.